I love this season. This season means potlucks, it means barbecues, it means outdoor entertaining, gardens are blooming, herbs are blossoming. It is a perfect season of fresh food. It's a perfect season of people getting together and spending time outdoors and just an enjoyment of the season. So in this video, I'm making easy side dishes, dips, appetizers, and summer recipes, great for a party or for your family to enjoy. Starting with this $1 million dip that my family absolutely loved. To our bowl, 4 ounces of cream cheese, a half a cup of sour cream, 3/4 a cup of mayonnaise, green onions. I'm only gonna do half because I'm gonna keep some for the top. 3 green onions chopped. Now let's add our cheddar cheese. This is 8 ounces of sharp cheddar cheese that I've shredded, and my other ingredient I'm adding is pork belly bites. I made a batch of pork belly in the air fryer and had these left over. I thought they'd be great in here because they're very similar to bacon. But speaking of bacon, that's what the recipe calls for, about 6 slices. So I did half with the pork belly and half of bacon, about 3 slices. Now I'm adding a teaspoon of garlic powder to the mix and we'll blend it all together. I let my cream cheese blocks sit outside the fridge for a bit to get nice and soft. That makes it more easy to spread and more pliable to work with. I'm now adding my dip into the middle part of my platter here, and then I'm going to add a little bit of the bacon bits, a little bit of the cheddar cheese, and those green onions to give it color and to let people know what's inside. It just looks more appetizing, and then you can serve this up with chips or Fritos or vegetables is what I did. I got some fresh cucumbers from our garden and some celery sticks, and I thought they went so great with this dip. And let me tell you, my family loved it so much. Let's hear what they have to say.
I give this a 10 out of 10 stars. I think it's perfectly creamy. The shredded cheese, delicious. Green onion, I love the green onion in it. The bacon, but everything actually.
Did you even 10 out of 10? Did you even notice there's pork belly in there? Did you ever have pork belly before?
I've had it, but I didn't know it was in here.
Air fried pork belly bits are in there as well as with the bacon. Okay, and it's low carb.
The cucumbers are really good.
Fresh cucumbers from the garden. All right. Oh, excellent. We got their vote. Another great refreshing recipe for the summer is of course a salad, but this is going to be a bacon, lettuce, tomato, avocado salad. And then we're going to serve it on our keto bagels, or you could just serve it as a dip. So let's get started. We have our crispy bacon, 3 slices, our head of lettuce that I've chopped, 2 Roma tomatoes chopped, and then 2 avocados that I've diced. So we have all the ingredients for our BLT salad, and we're going to dump it in our bowl. To make this more like a dip, we're gonna add some mayonnaise to our salad mix. About 1/4 a cup of mayonnaise. And we're gonna do just a splash of white wine vinegar. Salt. So almost reminds me of the grinder salad. So instead of your deli meats and cheeses, we have avocados, tomatoes, and your bacon. Get that all nice combined. You could double the batch and serve it right out of here with some chips. That would be really good, but I'm gonna serve it on my bagel. These are our low carb keto bagels that I make. I'll put the recipe below in the description so you have those details. But I am just gonna pile on the salad onto these keto bagels. You could also smear your bagel with some cream cheese if you wanted to. But since the keto bagels already have cream cheese in them, I just went ahead and piled that salad mix on top, and I didn't feel like I was missing anything. It turned out really delicious. I have everything bagel seasoning on top of these keto bagels, and they go really well. If you don't have that kind of bagel, sprinkle in some everything bagel seasoning into this salad to give it a little saltiness and crunch. This was so yummy and refreshing. I highly recommend making this, especially if you enjoy bacon. Okay, we're gonna make our standard summer salad, which is our Italian mozzarella tomato salad. If I could spin this right to where you can see it. Marinated with fresh herbs and spices. Lovely. These are some tomatoes, cucumbers from our garden. Speaking of garden, look at my beautiful basil plant. So we're going to combine all that. I am going to cut these down. They're a little big. I'm going to cut those in half to put them in here. And then if it needs it, I'll throw in some Italian dressing, but I think this will supply all the oil it needs. So then we just maybe need some balsamic vinegar for the balance. So let's dump it all in. I cut our basil leaves into ribbons and I'm adding it to the salad now. I'm going to add just a drizzle of the Italian dressing. It won't need much because I do have this organic balsamic vinegar, which is a high quality vinegar. As you can tell as I'm pouring that it has a thickness to it, a little thicker than your normal balsamic. I'm just going to give it a quick drizzle and I'm not going to do too much. The flavor can be overpowering, but also it can turn your mozzarella balls a little dark and it doesn't present as well. So I'm just gonna stir this lightly and this is ready to serve. My family eats this up. It never makes it past the day. Up next, I'm making a layered dip that's going to be perfect for the 4th of July. Starting with refried beans. Next, we're adding thick and chunky salsa. Normally, I would make my own homemade guacamole, but when the avocados aren't ripe and you have to grab something in a pinch, this is a good brand. Chunky Guacamole is the thing you want to look for. I'm going to add the entire container in one even layer on top of my salsa. Next layer is our cheese. I'm using an entire package of Monterey Jack cheese, about 8 ounces, and then I'm going to use about 1/4 of another bag because I want to make sure the entire thing is covered because this is going to be the backdrop of our flag. Next up, I'm using grape tomatoes that I've cut in half. I'm putting the flesh side down, and this will make my red stripes. To the one corner, I'm adding sliced black olives, which will be the backdrop for my stars. And you could also use blue corn tortilla chips, or you could also use black beans. And for my stars, I'm just using little pieces of the cheese. You can also get a cookie cutter in a star shape and cut those out of blocks of cheese, but I think it looks great. It is such a simple and easy recipe, and it is delicious. As I shared, I like to make my own homemade guacamole, and that's the recipe I'm going to share with you now. This is a party staple. Every time I bring it to a party, it immediately disappears. It is a party favorite. So what I have here are the ingredients for every guacamole. It is avocados, fresh lime juice. I use Roma tomatoes. I use minced garlic instead of fresh because it's not as strong. I use a red onion and then fresh cilantro. And of course, plenty of salt. And that is all it takes to make the best tasting guacamole. Let's get started with our dicing. We start with our Roma tomatoes. I get all the seeds out and make sure I get most of the liquid off of these tomatoes because I do not want my guacamole to end up with extra moisture. The key to my guacamole is to finely dice every ingredient. The smaller the dice, the better, as this will ensure every bite will have every ingredient in it and it will be well balanced and the texture will be perfect. I do put a generous amount of cilantro in this guacamole. It is going to give it all that wonderful flavor. I have had people who do not like cilantro and actually love my guacamole. I add a tablespoon of the minced garlic, and you'll notice here that I do not add the avocados first. Two reasons for this. One, I don't like my avocados to get overly mashed, so if I mix the other ingredients first, that really helps. And also you can do this step in advance. So if you're making your guacamole days before a party, you can do these steps without the avocados and then add the avocados right before the party. Next, I like to slice about 3 super thinly slices off of my red onion. I prefer red over white, and then I get them into a super tiny dice. Next, I'll add the juice of 1 whole lime, freshly squeezed. I'm adding a sprinkle of salt, which I'm going to start lightly and then add more to taste as I mix it all together. I read an article just today that said a lot of injuries come out of the kitchen from cutting avocados. What you want to do is put it on the board just like I did there. And if your avocados are overly ripe like mine are, you can easily squeeze out the pit without having to get out a knife. This will also prevent any injuries. I usually do it this way, and then I take a butter knife and I slice into cubes directly in the avocado skin, and then I just squeeze it from the top. I pinch the back of it and all the cubed avocados come out perfectly. Then I take my favorite tool, my Mix and Chop by Pampered Chef, and I use it to stir and blend all the ingredients together. This gets all around the side of the bowl, and it makes sure that I don't overly mash. I'm just trying to get it into a chunky but smooth consistency. And that is all there is to it, to my perfect guacamole, a perfect bite every time. We serve this up with our pork rinds for low carb, but of course you can serve this with tortilla chips or any other vegetable. Guacamole, even just by the spoonful, is perfect. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great summer, and I'll see you on the next video.